thoughts are too big. Can I get some comfort, please? I guess I should have been honest. It breaks in my heart. It's weighing me down, baby. I'm like a river that's overflowed. The sooner you know it, the less do we hurt. Let me speak the truth. I know you don't want to face it. You think it's too late, but I can see past the rain. Won't you lay it on me? Turn the page and burn it. Let's make up a big bonfire on the beach with the stars as our lighters, and throw our problems in the flame. Throw our problems in the flame. We fell down to the bottom, so bottom up please. We're gonna get over this. I see the smoke in the mirrors. I'm holding the key, one step away from salvation. You're like the ocean, setting me free. Out in the open, I'm picking up speed. No bad thoughts penetrate. Hold me like this is the first time. Our destiny calls, not leaving this incomplete. Won't you lay it on me? Turn the page and burn it. Let's make up a big bonfire on the beach with the stars as our lighters, and throw our problems in the flame. Throw our problems in the flame. And throw our problems in the flames. Ooh, throw our problems in the flames. I get a little bit breathless. My thoughts are too big.
Hi, everybody. It's Don, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. I am having a pretty good day. Anyone who has been following me, my other channel, I don't know if I mentioned it on this one, but I said the other day I was in hunting for some pants. The Big Pants Adventure, looking for some good pants for the Caribbean. The only pants I saw were $400 and some, and I said, I'm not buying $400 pants. So today instead, I spent $1,000 on new clothes. So I am all packed. Literally my entire suitcase. As you see, suitcase isn't here behind us because he's all packed. He's ready to go. And how is everyone doing out there? I did notice a super chat. First Sergeant Richard said, just a bit of cash. Thanks for all the content and the updates. Thank you so much, Richard. Much, much appreciated, sir. And I am so excited because I am literally next week, this day, this time, I'll be on the ship sailing. Knock on wood, nothing goes wrong between here and there. Just a quick reminder, everybody, if you have a question, please put question in your before you write the question down so we can pick it out easier. We're trying, Paul's trying to pick them all out for me. I did notice one quick one as I was going forward there that, are there any cheap river cruises? Well, in Europe, no, not from North America anyway, because those airfares are gonna jump into you. River cruises tend to be about double ocean cruises, if not more. But they're an adventure all on their own. They're completely different than an ocean liner cruise. Much more destination oriented, much calmer, much quieter. And you really do come back relaxed, but yeah, it can be pricey. I know, because I've been pricing them because I'm trying to go on one next year. Any questions for me so far, Paul?
Let's try that.
Okay. What cruise travel insurance options do Canadians have right now? Oh, Manulife. You can get travel insurance right now with Manulife that has COVID insurance, evacuation insurance. That's what I ended up getting this time around. My yearly one that I normally get, I let lapse because I didn't know when I could travel again. I wasn't going to renew it until it was back up. So for this cruise, I purchased the insurance, and by next cruise next month, I'll have my yearly insurance back up with them. That way, as long as you don't travel more than 6 months a year, that insurance will cover me for the rest of the year. So I travel a lot. I don't travel a whole every second week. I'm not traveling. So.
What does travel protection insurance cover?
It depends on your insurance policy. If you're going with the cruise line, basically it covers, normally your basic insurance covers up to 75% of your cruise cost. It also covers medical and evacuation up to a certain amount, usually around the $25,000 to $50,000 mark. That's just the medical, and it will cover the evacuation costs if you have to be airlifted out as well. Platinum covers a little more, and if you go with like I did with Manulife, you can set yours. So I have $100,000 worth of travel insurance in case something happens. So if I get COVID and I'm stuck in a hotel and for some reason I have to pay for it, I'm covered for this trip. But you don't really need that much. As long as you have evacuation insurance to cover your airlift, that's the thing that really can catch up people off guard. You end up being airlifted and you leave the hospital in 2 days. Your airlift is $17,000. Your hospital stays $2,000. So make sure you have that in your insurance policies. Any class of ship better than the Quantum class? I don't know. Well, you know what? The Oasis is a pretty darn class. And if you're talking about the new Odyssey, that's the Quantum Plus, which is the same as the Spectrum. And Tony and I saw Tony. Hi, Tony. Tony's in the chat. We were very impressed with that ship. It was beautiful, and we were on it in Japan. And I was hoping to get on the Odyssey. Unfortunately, I got canceled the first cruises. So I'm going to try and get on her later this year. But she looks beautiful. But still, if you're looking for a big ship, try an Oasis class ship because it's just an experience being on those size ships. Which ships are you sailing? Well, you want a list? Here we go. I'm on the Edge, the Celebrity Edge this month. Next month, I'm on the Carnival Mardi Gras. The month after that, I'm on the Majestic Princess. I'm going to hold off on the next one. The next scheduled one so far, I'm on the Norwegian Joy in December. So I'm on 4 right now, and I'm looking at a 5th one in October. So interested in hearing about COVID testing coming and going. Yes, I'm going to be covering that as we go. Right now, Celebrity is not requiring us to take a COVID test if you've been vaccinated. So I'm hoping that continues. And they do provide the test for me on my way back. So I have it for when I try and return to Canada. They will take the test on board, and it's free of charge for vaccinated passengers. If you saw my video the other day, someone asked, because I mentioned, that might be today's video actually, I mentioned about how Norwegian Cruise Line is not accepting mixing vaccines. So AstraZeneca, and then you get a Moderna or a Pfizer, or a Pfizer and Moderna. They're not accepting any mixing whatsoever. And somebody said in Canada, when I mentioned that, I said, well, why would you mix vaccines? Well, here in Canada at the beginning, if you didn't know, our supply was not what the United States was. We were getting in like 1 million doses every couple weeks. You know, we weren't doing very well with our protocols. So we literally started just vaccinating 1 dose to everybody and said no one can get their doses for 4 months. Then the supply started picking up, but we were giving AstraZeneca 1 week, and then they started mixing the vaccines and saying, because now we can't get AstraZeneca in, so now you're going to get Pfizer instead. So there's a lot of Canadians who woke up this morning finding out that, hey, you're not considered vaccinated on some of those cruise lines. And that is going to make a lot of people very angry with the Canadian government. So do I have a favorite cruise line or ship, or a least favorite? Right now, at my age and where I am in cruising, I'm still a Princess fan. I am usually not very disappointed on a Princess ship. I like their food. I like their entertainment. I know what to expect on their ships. And they're always roughly the same design, whether it's a large ship or a small ship. You feel at home on them once you've been on one. And Princess is right up there. Do I have a least? I'm going to say one thing. The MSC cruises in Europe, I wasn't a fan of, only because of the entertainment. The entertainment on that was all over the place, from a mime to a shadow puppet guy. This is what we did for 55 minutes. He was making faces with shadow puppets. I'm not a big fan. I like my entertainment on board. So if you can't entertain me on board, I'm not a big fan. But here, the MSC cruise ships had good entertainment in North America. So I wouldn't count them out. But be careful if you book a European cruise. What do you got? Oh, question. Do you think Carnival will open up more balcony cabins after final parent? They're already going to 70% right now on the cruises. They're starting up, so they're approaching capacity as it is. I don't know if they're going to start opening up. They're going to probably go a month or so, and then you're going to see them creep up to 75, 80%. But they said by the end of this year, they want to be at 100% on the ships that they're sailing. But I think 70 is already pushing that envelope right now, especially as you're seeing in the United States. Cases have started to rise again, and there's some watch out. Some states are re-implementing the mask policies. And I know Florida is going to be the last one in the world to do that. So I'm hoping they don't do that before I get there next week. So don't change your policies, Florida. I don't want to wear a mask next week. I'm looking forward to that. Question. Don, will you be doing cruise excursions or exploring on your own? We're going to explore on our own on the first cruise this next week on the Edge in Nassau. I've been there a million times. My guest that I'm going with, she doesn't really see anything that was interesting to her. But in Mexico, she wanted to do the ruins. So we're going to go see the ruins. She's never seen the ruins in Mexico. And then I wanted to do some snorkeling. She loves snorkeling. So we're going to do a speedboat, two-person speedboat, and we're going to go snorkeling at a private beach as well. So that's the two excursions we're going to do. And then walk around Nassau. It's easy to walk around in that town. Pete, thank you so much for the super chat, Pete. Don, are you saying you got COVID size like everyone else?
You had to get new clothes.
Oh, yes, I did. I went up to 230 pounds, guys, during this stay at home for 16 months. 230 pounds. I'm only 5'9", roughly. So that's a lot of weight for my little size. And I didn't do well. I am now down to 182 pounds. So I had 2 pounds to hit my goal. So I'm very proud of that. And I bought all new clothes to fit. And I got to the size that I wanted to buy. And so now I just have to keep there for 5 more days and not eat a lot of junk food so I don't fit in the clothes when I leave. Where are you getting your tests done on the way home? Celebrity's going to do it for us right there on the ship. In fact, most of the cruise lines are doing that. So far, they say until the end of August. Carnival doesn't mention that on their website, but when you call in, they actually tell you that we are going to provide the test for people who need their test to fly up until the end of August. And I guess they'll see how, what's happening with the rest of the world. I mean, Canada, US, next month will be opening their borders from all accounts that we're looking at. You're going to be able to drive back and forth if you've been vaccinated. So maybe that testing procedure, once you've been vaccinated, will disappear as well. So that's why they've only put it till the end of August. Paul's running around looking for questions. Is that one? No? Okay. So have any of you guys, I have always wanted to go on the Celebrity Edge. I really have. But when I was getting ready to go, the timing didn't work out. And so then I started saying, well, I'll just go on the Apex when it comes out. But, COVID hit and couldn't get over there. And now it's in Europe. So I'm really looking forward to the Edge. I can't wait to see the magic carpet. I can't wait to see Eden, the restaurant with the entertainment on the back. I booked a suite for the first time in my life, booking and paying for a suite. I've been upgraded, but I've never paid for a suite right off the bat. And I got one for my friend, and I know she's going to have a great time. And so I'm really looking forward to this cruise. Spoiling myself for the first cruise back. Absolutely. Wendy, guess I'm going to have to cancel my 3 cruises on Royal because I got 2 different vaccines. No, not Royal Caribbean. Don't worry about it. Right now, Royal Caribbean hasn't brought that out because you were allowed to be unvaccinated on Royal Caribbean, except for the Alaska cruise. But they haven't said anything about mixing vaccines yet. And also, all the other cruise lines except Norwegian. Okay, so Princess and Holland America, who said that you can't mix vaccines, if you have the same type of vaccine. So if you have Pfizer and Moderna, they're the same type of vaccine, they consider that okay. It's only mixing the AstraZeneca and the mRNA vaccines. They're different. And so they're saying because the Food and Drug Administration in the United States has not approved that yet, they're considering you a non-vaccinated person at that point. Even though there's lots of studies out there that have shown that if you had AstraZeneca to begin with, and then you get one of the other ones, it actually increases your protection than getting a second dose of AstraZeneca. They're not considering that as vaccinated. So, listen, when you do a 7-day north to Alaska on Princess, immediately do a 7-day south back to back. What happens with your luggage in between? If you're just doing back to back, you keep your luggage. You don't have, unless you're changing rooms. I did back to back my last Alaska cruise, and you don't get off the ship. You don't have to do nothing. You just stay on board and you enjoy the ship while they're taking passengers on and off. So you don't have to worry about your luggage. You just stay in your room. Now, if you're getting off and you're doing like a 3-day excursion and you're doing one of the lodges, then obviously you're gonna want your luggage with you. But yeah, don't worry about that. They don't kick you off in Alaska. You can stay right on board and just enjoy the ship. Hello there is the person's name. I love that. Question: as a Canadian, if we travel and test positive 72 hours prior to returning home, are you stuck wherever you are? Yeah. Yes, we are. So if I'm on the cruise ship and I test positive, and I'm on the way back to the cruise port, they're going to take me off and they're going to put me into a hotel, and I'm going to stay there until I clear test, and then I can fly home. Most cruise lines right now are paying for that. If you test positive on their ship, they will pay for your hotel and your expenses and then rebook you to get home. That lady who was just removed from the Freedom of the Seas there, that everyone saw that video, they actually paid for a private plane to fly her back to Florida and fly her companion back to New York City. No cost to them. So at least there's that. But yeah, we're stuck if we test positive until we get a clear test. Absolutely, yeah. Susie, did you vlog your Japan cruise? Yep, there's lots of. It's quite a while ago now, though. It was the October before the pandemic hit. So we hit in 2020. So 2019 October. If you look back, you'll see a bunch of Japan videos from there. And if you want to see more, you can check out La Lita Loca. Tony, he was there with me. He vlogged in Japan as well. So you can check out his videos. That has been, to this date, since I started the channel, that is probably my favorite cruise out of all of them. But I did a Trans-Pacific to get to Japan to get to China. To Japan. Then I flew to China, stayed in China a week. Then we did a China cruise to Japan and back to China before I flew home. And so I simply love Japan. I would go back in a second, and I can't wait for things to get back to normal and we can visit there again. Question: when selecting an Alaskan cruise, is a one-way trip better than a round trip from Seattle? There's a difference. When you're traveling one way, say from Vancouver, and you're going to get off, you end up spending more time in port. So if that's important to you and you want to spend more time in each destination, you get more time. And I've seen it to where we'll pull into Ketchikan and we'll pull in 2 ships back to back. Norwegian will be behind us coming from Seattle and we'll have come from Vancouver. We'll pull in right around 8 o'clock in the morning. And at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the Blizz is pulling out and heading off to its next port. We're still in port till 9 o'clock at night. So there's a lot more time in port. You can sometimes get 3 shore excursions in if you wanted to, or have dinner in the ports. So that's one of the reasons I like the northbound cruise a little more. Plus, they tend to spend more time in Glacier Bay and places like that. More scenic cruising. It seems a little bit more leisure because they don't have to. Right now, it's not bad because you don't have to make a Canadian stop. But normally, you have to turn around and make a Canadian stop on your way back. So that's one of the reasons the ports tend to be shorter. Oh, sorry, I missed that. Does Princess not have any ships with covered pools? No, they do. Don't they? See, I don't go to the covered pool areas, so I'm pretty sure the Majestic does. I thought the Royal does. You're stumping me. Who knows out there? Come on. And I'm a Princess fan, but I don't go to covered pool areas very often. But I'm pretty sure they do. Question. I'm on the MSC Divina in September. That was my last cruise on the Divina before everything shut down. I am vaccinated, but with it not being fully vaccinated cruise, do they still have to sail through at least 95% vaccinated? Or is there's no requirement right now on MSC for vaccinated passengers? They are taking unvaccinated passengers on board. They are not taking quotas. They're not counting. So, yeah, there's no restrictions right now. The way MSC and Royal are doing it, there's no limitations for people.
We were so far behind because we got so many comments. We jumped right over Tony's super sticker for $20.
Tony?
Lalita Loca?
Tony, what are you doing, buddy? Well, thank you, Tony. I much appreciate that. I've been pushing Tony's channel on my videos here. I think I'm doing pretty good. Maybe he's paying me for that, but I appreciate that, Tony. You know, I got stuff planned for you and I on our cruises too, boy. So that's looking forward. Tony and I were just booking. Some of our Carnival Mardi Gras dinners and things like that right now. We're going to get the chef's table. We're going to do a bunch of stuff. And now we got to get together and talk about the Majestic Princess in September, because I know he wants to go whale watching, and we got to get that locked in. Nost Riches. I love those names. My husband and I will never cruise. Come on, don't say that. Never say never. But started following you during COVID and enjoy your wit and insight. Can't wait to see you on a cruise. But you have to get on a cruise to see me on the cruise. Actually, that's not true, because I run into people now in Florida when I'm walking down the streets and I'm at the hotels. I'm running into people there. I'm running into more and more people here in Ottawa. And it's so much fun to run into somebody just out doing groceries and they come up and recognize me. That's so much. That's amazing to me that can happen. Rudy, can I trade in my wife for one of your group tours, Don? Please do a brother a solid. Send pictures. I'll let you know. I'll let you know the trade-in value and how many credits you'll get. That I should never have gone there, Don. You should never have gone there. But thanks, Rudy. Question, have I ever been on a Disney cruise? Yes, I have. I love Disney cruises, but they are just so pricey, especially when you're an adult by yourself. There's no real discounts because they deal with so many families, and it's really... I was trying to get on the Disney Wish, and I found out I could book 2 suites on the Celebrity Edge for less than the inside cabin was going to be on the Disney Wish on its inaugural week. So I said, yeah, I'm gonna take the suites. But I do love Disney. Their shows are amazing, and I will try. I'm going to try. I'm trying to talk my daughter into letting me bring my grandkids on the Disney Wish. So fingers crossed that'll happen. Robofan, I recognize that name from Dundee and Robert. Dee and Robert, Dundee. Dee and Robert. On the Alaskan group cruise, will there be any group excursions and or you can suggest any for first-time Alaskan visitors? We will be, once I get into the final payment section of the group cruises that we do, that's when I'm allowed to contact the cruise lines and start making arrangements to put people into groups. So what we normally do is I'll let people know as we're getting close that I'm going to be trying to book us on this one, like a whale watching, or we're going to go see the lumberjack show here, or we're going to do the glacier tour here. And anybody who wants to be on there just books it themselves right through the planner. And then I go to the groups department and they move everybody into one group together. So we don't have to try and call everybody. Do you want to be on it? You can just book it. And you can reserve it now if you wanted to. And if you book one that's not with us and you want to switch it to ours, they'll do that. No cost, no extra, no nothing. So that's normally the way the group cruises work. It's much easier than trying to say, okay, everybody try and book that now. Because quite often, tours will pop up like 4 months before your cruise. So if we were doing that now, a better one might come along. But meanwhile, we have 40 people on this tour, and now we have to try and arrange it. So there will be some. I'll be putting it out. I do have a lot of videos planned. It's been a busy news sessions, as you know. But I do have a lot of videos planned. I'm going to talk about each ship that I'm going on in detail for the group cruise. And we're going to talk about the ports. And we're going to talk about the different shore excursions we can do, as well as the entertainment and things like that. So look forward to those. They'll be out in plenty of time for us to book ahead of time. Don't worry about that. That'll all be taken care of. Absolutely. $11.95 Tuck, $1.49 super sticker. Thank you very much for that super sticker. Appreciate it so much.
She sent us the cookies.
And she sent us the cookies. Which cookies?
The 3 cookies that we did on our channel from Long Island.
Oh, because we've been getting some prank cookies lately, so I had to ask. And you guys, we'll let you know about that a little bit later.
Okay, so this is a combo question.
Okay.
What if you've already had the virus and antibodies, but
Yep.
you are unvaccinated?
Yep.
And this.
My mother-in-law only had 1 round of vaccine, and she will go on a cruise next month. Will she have any issues? Yes. Okay. So the cruise lines are trying to work out the antibody things right now. Unfortunately, the FDA has come out and said that the antibodies, when you've had COVID, start to wear down after 3 months. And so they're recommending that if you've had COVID and the antibodies, to at least get one dose of vaccine, if you can. Now, if you've only had 1 dose of the vaccine, you're not considered vaccinated. So if you're going on a cruise that requires you to be vaccinated, then you have to let them know you're going to be part of that unvaccinated crowd, and they have to approve you ahead of time. So watch for the emails right away when you tell them, because if you miss that email, they'll just cancel your cruise and you won't be able to go. I almost had my Mardi Gras cruise canceled on me because my email went to spam. I guess I never saw it, but had I not clicked on that within a certain time period, they just would have canceled my cruise, and I would not have even known. And I would have shown up for the cruise and said, "You're not booked." So yeah, unfortunately, that's the way they, depending on the cruise line. If you're going on Royal Caribbean or MSC, you don't have to be vaccinated, so 1 dose is fine. Sheldon, question: as a travel agent owner, how are you able to run your business and cruise so often? Because I am not really the owner. I am a travel agent and I have my own an agency that I've assigned that I bought into. So I've invested a lot of money into becoming an agent for this industry. And that company, they run the insurance and they handle all the money, finances, and all that stuff. And I get paid like a commission based on what I sell, but I get a pretty good commission because of my rankings right now with the company. It's been a rough year. Nobody in travel has been making any money for over a year because travel agents only get paid when people have actually traveled. You don't get paid in advance. So if you book a cruise for 2 years from now, that travel agent gets paid 2 years from now. So it has been rough on people, but I've been lucky. I have the YouTube channel. I had my other job. So I've been okay through all of this. And it's been rough. I know a lot of people who've had to give up the industry in my company alone. And a lot of travel agencies have gone under, completely just gone under, because they have no business left to go. I'm lucky that I'm with a very strong company, and I really like my travel agency. I like all the people in it. I like the owner. I've had nothing but good things to say about my company. So far, so good. Knock on wood, that doesn't change. Thomas, thank you so much, Thomas, for the super chat. You're cruising with Tony to Alaska. How about that? Yes, we are. The Majestic Princess. That's the same ship that we have that group cruise on. So anybody on that group cruise, look and watch those videos. Haven't been on the Majestic yet, obviously, because he's new. I was on the Sky before the Majestic. That was a beautiful ship. So I'm looking really forward to seeing what the Majestic holds and stuff. And I just can't wait to get back to Alaska. It's a little later in the season than I'm used to going in September, but we wanted to make sure they were sailing, and we wanted to make sure that we wanted to get on the Mardi Gras ahead of time, and we were hoping to get on the Oasis and other ships like that. So it just made sense for us to kind of push it till near the end of the season. Larry, thank you so much, Larry, for the super chat. Hi, Don, and all lovers of travel. We can't wait to meet you on the Mardi Gras. 8/21. Yep, you're on the right one. I get a lot of people who've been getting the date wrong. We are on August 21st. We are absolutely on that ship that date. And when you see us around, just grab us by the shoulder, say hi. Don't be shy. We'll be all over that ship, and I just love saying hi to everybody. So that is, even if I'm sitting don't be shy. Just come over and say hi. Absolutely. Nurse Betty. Question: can a guaranteed cabin be requested to be changed after it is assigned? You can. You can always request it if there's a reason for it. If they don't always want to do it because it's a guaranteed cabin. But once in a while, once it's assigned, they will let you, if they have an opening and it's not like to a big upgrade, they will, normally they're pretty easygoing that way for most cruise lines. Sylvain. Hi, fellow Canadian from Montreal here. The Habs, Sylvain. What happened? I was so hoping. I like to travel and visit new places, but I think that only 1 day in port is not enough. Are there cruises that stay in port more than a day? Yeah, there is. You can do just cruises, for instance, to Nassau, where that's all they go to. They'll stay there for 3 days and then come back. There are cruises that will do overnight ports in certain destinations, which will spend more time there as well. But you'll find that, yeah, you're only there 1 day, but the more you start to travel, you return to those places on the cruise ship more and more. So it's like you've been there longer and you learn different things each time you go. So you get a little taste of it and then a little taste again. And it keeps you wanting more and more as you go. That's kind of one of the reasons I do love cruising. Plus, you always return to it's like returning home every night. No matter what happens during the day, whether you have bad food or anything like that, you return to the ship and you know it's going to be okay because you're back in familiar territory and you're back in familiar food. And trust me, I've been to some countries that I went to eat the food and it was pretty hard to get through. When you go to Africa and places like that, when you really get out off into the beaten path, if you don't have a strong taste like stomach, it can be pretty rough. So that cruise ship can be very welcoming. Benjamin, thank you so much for the super chat, Benjamin. My main draw to a cruise is ship experience itself. Just to experience the ship life and the open sea. Could you enjoy a cruise with no excursion? Absolutely. You know what? If my friend was not going with me on this cruise to Celebrity, I probably would have just stayed on the ship the entire time. Especially when you get on a ship that has a lot to do. If you get on an Oasis, a Quantum, a Blizz class ship, there's so much to do on those ships all day long that you never have to leave the ship, ever. And a lot of people cruise that way. They just prefer to just stay on the ship. So don't feel you have to do shore excursions. A lot of people feel that way. They feel like they have to go. Well, we can squeeze 2 shore excursions in that day because it's a little longer port excursion. You don't want to burn yourself. You just go ahead and enjoy the cruise and just relax. If you want to relax and cruise on the ship, just stay on the ship. You won't be disappointed because it's a lot of fun being around the empty ship and having the pool deck to yourself and the wave runners to yourself. If you're on those class of ship, it's a lot better, less crowded, shall we say. Crazy Cat Traveler, any word on the Florida versus CDC suit? Doesn't seem the injunction take effect tomorrow. It does. We haven't heard nothing about the court case being moved up into for the appeal. Now, we did hear the Norwegian cruise line suing the Florida state. That's, I think, going to be heard either on the 6th or the 8th of August, which could have whole other ramifications going forward. But no, the appeals court have not heard anything yet. Doesn't mean they won't bring it up in the next few days. But as of now, that injunction, it stands as of tomorrow. So yeah, welcome to the new world of cruising. You can't tell what's happening without a program nowadays. It's just everything's all over the place. Marlene, Royal Princess does not have a cover. I am booked on the Majestic Princess in October, and I don't like to look them up ahead of time. I just like to be surprised. Yeah, thanks, Marlene. Yeah, see, I don't look for covered pools on those because I'm not a covered pool person per se. So I never even I don't go into the retreat areas on most ships most times. So especially a solo cruiser. So yeah, I sometimes don't even know what's on the ship. Sometimes, absolutely. Question, Don. Do you have any meetups here in Florida before any of your upcoming cruises? We might do one for the Mardi Gras. I know Tony was talking about it, and I said if he wants to do it, by all means, I have no issues with that at all. So him and Jenny might try and organize. It's easier for them to organize it than me being out of state, out of country, especially right now. Yeah, I'm not on this one because I'm going with a friend and we're meeting up the day before earlier. But definitely for the Mardi Gras in August, we just might do something then. Yeah. David, question: do you think the mixing of vaccine problem will be reversed? I think it might be reversed especially for Norwegian because they're the only ones who came out and said the same type of vaccine you can't do. Plus, the FDA, we have tons and tons of studies out there that are saying that the mixing of the vaccine is actually more beneficial. But the FDA, just hasn't approved it yet. So it could literally be approved any day, and that would change the position of the cruise lines. Unfortunately, see, even the vaccines we're using right now aren't officially approved. They're approved for emergency use in the countries. They haven't been approved because they need a certain amount of time, long-term study to officially approve the vaccine. So we're still in that category of it's an emergency use only. So that's why it hasn't been approved yet. Enjoying life one port at a time. I love that one. Any chance for a mixer while you and Tony and I, Seattle, for the subscribers here? In Seattle, Tony, I know Tony and I are planning on being there a few days early, so we'll talk about it and we'll let you know. So definitely haven't done a meetup in Seattle, and because I normally sail out of Vancouver, so that would be a lot of fun. We'll have to check with the hotel and what's going on in Seattle, Washington. Maybe we'll have that meetup. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. Myra, question. If you are doing back-to-back cruise, do you have to do the paperwork twice or only one time? You still, if they're 2 separate cruises, you still have to do 2 separate check-ins, if you know what I mean. Like when you're ahead of time, your paperwork. So you're going to have 2 boarding passes. but you don't have to get off the ship most of the time. You can stay on the ship and then just get back, stay there. You don't have to go through the check-in process. However, if you go on a shore excursion and come back, you're in line again. You're doing a regular check-in. So if you do leave the ship for any reason, shopping, anything like that, you do have to, like, I got off the ship just to say goodbye to a friend and I was doing back-to-back, and I had to go in a 3-hour line after saying goodbye to my friend for 5 minutes. So it really wasn't worth it. I should have waved from the ship. Sharky and Pretty Bear, can you tell the story of the fire drill while laid over in Alaska? You mean when I didn't make a fool of myself, but we were stopped in Alaska and I didn't have to get off because I was doing back-to-back. And I'm in my room, and all of a sudden the fire alarm goes off in my room. And I'm looking around, and there's nobody around because the ship everyone's left. I'm basically on my floor by myself. So I grab my life jacket and I head off like a good boy and head off to my muster station, which is, I think I was in the theater that day. And I'm sitting there all by myself in the theater, just sitting there, and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And there's no alarm going off anywhere else on the ship. And I noticed it, but I said, I got to do what I got to do. They were supposed to turn off the fire drill for the rooms for the people staying on the ship. And instead, they didn't. So 6 of us went to different muster stations, it turned out. And I was the only one in my muster station sitting there by myself. And I was filming it like this because I thought it was pretty darn funny. Because I knew there was no fire because I was passing crew members in the hallway just talking to each other nonchalantly. But I followed the rules. James, have you any from Norwegian Cruise Line as guidelines or protocols as do you know how the encore is going to be? Right now, they're looking at 50% capacity with Norwegian Cruise Line. It's going to be pretty standard because they are going for fully vaccinated crews. You're going to have to show proof of vaccination on board, and then you won't have to wear a mask. You won't have to social distance. And as you know, they are suing the state of Florida because they want to be able to say that everybody on the ship is vaccinated. So they may not even allow unvaccinated on their ships. But they do. Right now, you're allowed that 5%. So if you're unvaccinated, you can still go on their cruises. But they are going to require you to be there. But you don't have to wear a mask, just like the Edge is going to be next week. So whatever you see me do on the Edge next week is pretty much Royal Caribbean's protocols. Who pays for COVID tests to return to Canada? The cruise lines are doing it right now until the end of August. That is, as long as you're vaccinated. If you're unvaccinated, you have to pay for it yourself. So being a vaccinated Canadian right now, and luckily with the same dose for both shots, I can get my vaccine, my test paid for. Ami, Aussie wishful travelers here. Oh, I know, guys. You guys are getting farther and farther behind there. You're planning a big USA trip for 2025, including a few cruises. Is it worth using a travel agent, and does it work out cheaper? It can. Basically, think of the headaches that people have gone through trying to get refunds and trying to get their money back and rebook cruises and use your future cruise credits all through this time. Well, guess what? If you had a travel agent, you didn't have to do it. The travel agent did it for you. They did the research. They were on the phones for the 4.5-hour wait times trying to call in the cruise line. So that's really the biggest benefit I find with using an agent, other than maybe bouncing off knowledge of ports or procedures or things like that. As long as you're getting somebody, like if I'm going to Disney, I want an agent who knows Disney. So that's what I would look for, not just somebody who sells Disney. I want somebody who's been to Disney and knows what it's about. So that's really the benefit. Also, if the price drops, the agent can usually get your price cheaper, easier sometimes, even if the final payment's been done, than you can on your own. Plus, every once in a while, the cruise lines will go to an agency like mine and we'll go, okay, for a month now, whatever you book with us, you guys are going to get an extra $100 onboard credit for any cruise. So you'll get benefits like that. And if I book a group cruise, for instance, I lock my payments in. I lock my price in sometimes 2 years in advance, and then by the time that cruise is ready to cruise, sometimes that price has gone up $2,000-$3,000 for a couple on a cruise. So if you go through an agent who has a group cruise or a cruise booking on there that they can put you in, you can save some money that way as well. So there's lots of benefits to it, but you have to find somebody that you can trust. And that's one of the things that you really, and a lot of travel agents right now are swamped. They're absolutely swamped because it's super busy out there. And I know exactly how they feel. Trust me. Chris, Don, I'm scheduled to go on Celebrity in September. What are they requiring as proof of vaccination for the Canadians? As we, of course, don't have this CDC vaccination card. No, we may, by September, you may have the new thing that the federal government's working on right now as a vaccine passport to let them know. But right now, you just need your printout and from your vaccine. And if I were you, I would print out both of them, the printout you got from your first dose and the printout you got from your second dose. This way, there's no confusion. Did you get both doses of the same type and all that? You have a document for both. But that's what I have. They're printed out right here beside me, and I'm bringing them with me as I go. And I have them. I have them copies in my wallet, copies in my packet of information, like my booking and all that, and I have copies in my passport. So I should be good. Plus, it's downloaded to my phone as well. Deborah. Hi, Deborah. Are you going to be on Tony and Jenny's group cruise on the Sapphire Princess in February? I don't believe so. They have a lot of group cruises, Tony. Yeah. It's hard to keep up. I don't believe so. We're on 3 together this year so far, till the end of this year. And who knows, we might be on one again in October as well. So that's quite a few. We got to try and get on each other's group cruises next year. I'm trying to get them on my Alaska cruise, and maybe I'll join them on one of their cruises. And but we still have to work it out. We don't know which one's going yet. Marshall, with places like LA starting mask mandates again, think there is any chance cruising restart may get slowed down this fall? There's an absolute chance. Especially in the states that were harder with protocols like California, New York, states like that. If everything starts to go south with COVID and everything again, they may put a delay on the cruising, whether or not it's going. The only good thing is right now, I did double check today that the death toll is not going up as fast as the case count. You guys were down around 10,000, 11,000 a month ago, and you're now in the 50,000 cases again in the United States, but fatalities are only just inching up. So that's the best sign. I don't think they're too concerned about cases as much as they are about hospitalizations and fatalities. So hopefully we stay in that range and where there's no big increase. Cruise ship vacations. Don, what's your thoughts on cruise lines giving wristbands a differentiating between vaccinated and unvaccinated? Some could say it is public shaming. I am. I actually have said that in my videos. They're creating a two-class system that way, whether it's intentional or not. You know, if I sit down to dinner and I'm at a table of 8, and 6 people have the wristbands and 2 don't, well, guess which ones aren't vaccinated? And if I am nervous about that, I will avoid those people, right? I'll try and avoid those people on the cruise. I'll try not to go with them. And plus, closing areas of the ship down during the cruise and saying you can only go during this time, I'm not a big fan of the system that they're working on right now. You saw that lady who was kicked off the cruise. Whether it was her fault, she's claiming it was the cruise line's fault, saying that she told them she's unvaccinated and they still gave her a wristband. And then they ended up having to remove her from the ship. if they went one way or the other, then you don't have that confusion. There's no mixed messages, because if you notice Royal Caribbean port workers, the people getting your tickets and all that kind of stuff, they don't work for Royal Caribbean. They work for the port. So it's Royal Caribbean explaining to the port authorities, who's explaining to their staff their procedures. And there's just room for error. But I'm not a fan of either just go all out vaccination or just open the gates and let it go. But I don't like creating two classes of citizens on the same ship. Absolutely. Michelle, my 7-year-old, from my question for your 7-year-old, are you going to try and meet Captain Kate? I will probably most likely try and meet Captain Kate. I follow her on Instagram, and I have been watching a few of her videos out there. And I saw a lot of influencer that first cruise got to take pictures and everything with her. However, what's the cat's name too? That hairless cat. Obviously, you have to have a hairless cat because she's the captain. She couldn't have cat hair all over herself every time she went out in public. But it's an ugly looking thing, but it's growing on me. The cat is growing on me. Hey, John. Hi, John. Thank you so much, John, for the super chat. You have a blessed day too, my friend. John and I are good friends. I still have a shirt here for you, John. The post office is finally open again. Phase 3 is open. I can send you your shirt that I promised you. So stay tuned for that. Scott, we are going on the Majestic Princess in August to Alaska. Any idea what capacity the ship will be booked at? Princess is booking them all at 50% right now, maximum of 50%. They may change that before you get to the ship. It could change next week. Things are moving at a rapid pace all over the place. But right now they have set their cap at 50%. So. Bretko, do you think my Alaskan cruise from Vancouver, July 2022, has a good chance of actually sailing? Well, it better, because I'm on an Alaskan cruise in June of 2022, and I'm on there with 300 other people. So it better cruise. Canada just opened up and said as of November 1st, they're allowing cruise ships back in that are going to follow health and safety protocols. So that's 4 months earlier than they had planned. That whole canceling cruises for a year was a ridiculous thing to do by them. And I stated it when they did it. And I said, there's no way this is going to go on a year. I was right. And I said, this can only cause problems. And guess what? It's only caused problems for the Canadian government right now, because Vancouver is sweating that the United States is going to try and bypass them permanently, and they're going to lose a lot of cruise business. It's just not great. So, okay. But it better go. It better go. What are some ships that are best for single travelers? Royal Caribbean has a few solo cabins on a few of their ships, like the Spectrum. MSC is pretty good because you can usually get some very cheap cruises out there. One of the best ones, though, is Norwegian, because they have their solo cabin areas on a lot of their ships. And while not quite half price, it's more along the lines of like a 60% sort of thing. And they're not large cabins, they're all inside cabins, but it's a great way to start off if you're looking to do more cruising on a budget. And the rooms are really, really nice. They have their own lounge. It's a private area for singles, so a lot of solo travelers, like single women, feel much safer in those areas because it's more watched than the rest of the ship is. And you have to have your own key card to get in that area. You can only be a solo cruiser. You can't be in any of the other cabins on the ship. So, yeah, I would check out Norwegian. Follow. We got lost here.
Try this.
Oh, okay. Question from Myra. That's the second question. Here we go. When you are doing back-to-back cruises on Princess, do you get issued a new medallion for the second cruise, or do you keep the first medallion? You keep the first medallion. And that goes for all the cruise lines offering these trackers and everything. If you don't have to leave the ship, they just keep you with the same one. As long as you're assigned to that same cabin, it won't turn off. until they collect it when you leave. What, if anything, have you heard about what cruise lines are doing in regards with Venice? Yeah, I know. Have a cruise in September. Doubting we'll see Venice now. The limitations, you can still see Venice, but you're not going to be parked in Venice into the lagoon area where UNESCO is saying that you can't go. They're going to ship you over to a more of an industrial area, and it'll be a longer drive into the tourist area. That's where the larger ships are going to go. Right now, anything larger than, say, a luxury yacht isn't much going to fit into the restrictions that they put on in length and weight and gross tonnage, and that it's been up and down in Venice into a hit and miss, and who knows what's going to happen. But you can still go to Venice. You just won't be parked in the lagoon area. They're making new areas at the industrial site for you, so you'll probably still end up going. When are you booking for the next Alaska cruise? Where do we find out? You can find out under every one of my videos. I list my group cruises that are currently on schedule. Haven't scheduled anything in 2023 yet, but I'm looking. Trouble is, a lot of times I have to pay money to book these cruises. And I want to spend my money on cruises right now, not booking group cruises. So, but my next Alaska cruise is June 4th of next year. One-way cruise out of Vancouver, Majestic Princess. Going to be a beautiful Glacier Bay, nice ship. Can't wait to go on that cruise. And I'm going this year on a Majestic, so I get to show everybody. But it's almost sold out. Both my Panama Canal and my Rotterdam and now the Majestic are almost all sold out, the cabins now, because there's no restrictions on booking next year like there is this year. So they've been filling them up ahead of time. Is there a good chance a cruise on Oasis of the Seas is going to sail in December of this year? Yeah. I believe it might be sailing at a New York area, right? So I think you have a very high chance, because they've gotten Bayonne is getting ready now with their cruise port. New York has been opening up a lot of their things, their stores, and I have a feeling you're gonna definitely be seeing some cruises out of those areas in the near future. Unfortunately, not early enough to come up to Canada because of our restrictions for the fall cruises, but I'm pretty sure the Oasis is one of those ships that's top priority right now with Royal Caribbean. Super chat from Sarah Summerhill. Hi, love your content. Hope to meet you on a cruise someday. I would love that. Thank you so much. I try. I know a couple times during this pandemic I've been down, like a lot of us have been. But I try and keep it as upbeat as possible as I can. And I'm only looking forward now to hey, look at this. We're cruising. 6 days from now, I'm on a plane. 7 days, I'm on a cruise. And then I'm a cruise and a cruise and a cruise and a cruise every month till the end of the year. So I can't wait to show you guys all that. Michael, are you going to do the chef's table on the Panama Canal cruise next year? More than likely. I like to do the chef's table on every cruise that I go on. And Princess is one of my favorites. I haven't done it on the Island Princess before. Normally Princess doesn't let you book that in advance. You have to book it when you get on the ship. But I will try and reserve a couple tables for the group and see if anyone wants to join us, and we'll have to kind of draw names or something because it's limited capacity as well. And I'm hoping that I can get the entertainment director, Natalie, to join us as well, because she's a good friend of mine. Good friend. We don't hang out, but we talk all the time. So yeah, can't wait to see her. I hope she gets on the island real soon. Super sticker from Servino 1020. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. GMC Guire, 1980. Never booked with a group. Is there some savings booking with a group? Usually the group is locked in at an early date, so you tend to get better prices. They often offer extra onboard credits sometimes, depending on the company. And they will reduce your fare if the price drops and you don't have to even think about it and worry about it. It'll be just done automatically. Plus, you're cruising with the same group. You'll start to recognize people on the shore excursions because you meet them at dinner and you meet them at the cocktail party, and then you'll see them on a shore excursion, and before you know it, you're actually friends and talking. We have people from my first group cruise that still talk to each other to this day who only met on the cruise. And in fact, some of them are even coming on the next couple group cruises, and they came as single cabins before, and now they're booking together to share a cabin to save costs so they can do more cruises. So yeah, there are some definite benefits to booking with groups that way. No more questions?
There are. Are we going?
Well, go. I'm going to answer 2 more questions. Here we go. Give it to me, Paul, because we're right at the time, but I can ramble as much as anybody. James. Hey, Don, can you get a group rate for your June 2022 cruise at local hotel in Vancouver? I've been contacting the hotels trying to get group rates. They're very, very stingy right now because of COVID and the restrictions on capacities and that. They don't want to commit for even next year right now. So I would recommend going to a website like booking.com, book a hotel that you like, that you really prefer, and you can pay at the hotel and you can cancel up to 48 hours before you have to arrive. So there's no risk in doing that. You lock your room in, and if we can get a group rate going and you want to transfer, you just cancel this one and book into the group rate. So that's what I would recommend to people. Also, if you're going on that Vancouver cruise with me to Alaska and you wanted to stay at the Pan Pacific, it just opened Wednesday for booking for June 4th. You could not book it until this Wednesday. So if you want to look at that cabin, it's not a cheap hotel, but it is one of the most convenient hotels for a cruise you'll ever stay at. It's a beautiful hotel overlooking the harbor, and you walk downstairs and you walk on the ship. It's attached to the cruise port. So it's a very convenient for anybody traveling out of Vancouver. Question number 2, what's the last one you got for me? Oh, can you book chef's tables for the Alaskan cruise? I'm going to try that, Jim, as well. Like I said, but you cannot do that ahead of time. You have to book it on the ship, but I will try and do that. And if they will allow me to do that, I'm going to be talking to the group departments for both the Princess cruises and the Rotterdam cruise. If they allow me to book it ahead of time, I'm going to try and get at least 2 tables on different nights. And then anybody who's interested in it, we'll put everybody into a hat during the cocktail party and we'll draw out the names. And that's the fairest way, I think, that we can do that thing going. So yeah, stay tuned, Jim. It's a very high possibility. And that's it. We have gone a little bit over time. I don't care. I'm having a good time talking to everybody. And I just wanted to say thanks again, everybody, for the support. And I am so glad that I can finally say it's almost cruise day, baby. It's almost cruise day. We're going to be back on the ships and starting with a really nice one, the Celebrity Edge. And I get to show you a suite. And I've never shown suites because I'm not in them. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for my friend's surprise because she doesn't know she's in a suite. She thinks she's in an inside cabin. And as a noob cruiser, she's only been on a 3-day cruise in her entire life. Lots of experience to see how an experienced cruiser likes the Celebrity Edge and a new person likes the Celebrity Edge. And until next time, everybody, thanks for joining me. Thanks for all the super chats and all the well wishes. And once again, have yourself a safe and a great vacation. Thanks for joining me.